I'm from the US, and I grew up in South Florida, a single mom, and I went to college in South Florida. And my upbringing was very religious. It was very strict as far as not associating with people outside of the church. It was very insular. I should mention to you that we weren't raised with money. We lived very simply. So the expectation, so I was homeschooled and my mother did not prioritize education. So the expectations weren't around grade, college, any of that. It was all around serving God and following the religion. And so that meant adhering to those strict rules, no birthdays, no holidays, like I said, preaching to the public. And so those were the expectations. So I went to school through fourth grade, and then she took me out in fifth grade. And in fifth grade, she was pretty hands-on. The other kids in my religion, we would get together. They were also homeschooled. But then after that, she just let it drop. I did some mail order schooling, but it was spotty. She wasn't overseeing it. Fortunately, I was an avid reader, so that really helped. But my math skills going into college were non-existent.
What was modeled as the good life where you came from?
What the goal would be, again, don't go to college, get married early, have children, and serve God, and listen to your husbands, the head of your household. And then become a model in the church for others to follow. That was the template.
Take us back to where you knew, I can't keep living this life.
So I left that life very early on. I moved out at 16. I knew that this is not what I wanted for myself. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to travel the world. So moved out early, worked. Some of that upbringing was still ingrained in me, though. I got married at 20, thinking that's what you do. And then at 25, when my then husband was like, it's time to have children. Whoa, wait, I still want to go to school and see the world. In 25, I got divorced and said, I need to go do all those things that I missed and that I had planned to do. So divorced, finished school, went to grad school. And then my next dream was to move to San Francisco. And I worked in tech, but that was a coincidence. I visited San Francisco. I loved the vibe. I loved the magic. I loved the people. And I made that my next goal. So after grad school, I moved out to San Francisco and I was there for 13 years, just living this San Francisco tech dream. And I would say that what surprised me was in 2024 when I up and left and moved to Mexico.
So why Mexico, of all places?
Yes. So I had this vague dream that one day I would retire in my 60s and I would move to Mexico and I would learn Spanish and I'd live by the beach. In 2024, well, I would say the shift happened during the pandemic. I got my dream job at the end of 2019. Pandemic came. I was only working there in the office for 4 months. And then we got acquired, a series of other projects dying. Then my career started to crumble. And I started to just not feel connected to San Francisco anymore. I never went back into an office. My career path that had been going like this my whole time there just started to plateau, and then even in 2024 it just collapsed on itself when I was in a toxic job. I would say abusive, and another relationship ending, getting laid off. San Francisco still not being it wasn't the magic, like the technology was coming back and AI boom, but the magic that was San Francisco, the Burning Man culture, the fun childlike wonder culture, it wasn't there anymore. And so I was like, what am I doing here? That's nothing left for me here. I didn't know where else in the United States I wanted to go. So I'm like, why go to Mexico? Why not now? Why wait until I'm 65 to go to Mexico? Now seems like a good time. And a month later, I was on a plane with my dog to Mexico. So the last year was really about letting go of those old constructs. And it was a process. I would relax and let go, and then I would worry, and then I would try and go back to my old life, or my old thinking, rather. Mm-hmm. So it took me a year to reset my nervous system, not wake up in a panic because I missed a meeting, stuff like that. So a lot of what am I doing, letting go of my old life for last year. Now I have an idea of where I want to go. I'm refreshed, rejuvenated, ready to work again. The negative self-talk that was going on about, oh, you failed, or you because you pivoted, that gone. And now I'm ready to move on. I'm still trying to figure out what is next. I've done a lot of experimentation, but I'm narrowing it down, and I'm working towards something now instead of running away and healing from something.
And so there's an excitement almost, right? An air of excitement. And do you think
Yep.
there's also like a level of trust that comes in?
Yeah, it wavers,
It's normal.
but it's getting stronger and stronger. Yes.
And is that trust really, do you think, coming from a place of knowing you are in the right city, or that you have landed now in a new environment that can support next evolution
Yeah.
of Natalie?
So for sure. Once I moved to Mexico City, I just I just knew this was the right place energetically for me. Then so once that was settled, everything else just started to fall into place. And while I'm still working out, my career path, while everything else, support system, where I live, everything else being in place has made me trust that it's going to work out, and then I'm on the right path. Complete opposite of my last year in San Francisco, where everything fell out of place.
Was that more or less because there was a lot of pressure and the environment was quite stressful, and there was other types of expectations of you?
I was burnt out. I had started hating my career every day. I was crying every day. Then I just didn't feel like I belonged in San Francisco anymore. So aspect just didn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
I was sick emotionally and physically.
And do you think you were even aware of that to some degree, and to sort of understand, like, do you think you even really understood how burnt out you were, or that you were in a situation where things were not good?
No, and what I did was I was internalizing it, and I thought everything was my fault. I wouldn't spend $15,000 in an executive coach because I'm thinking, oh, I need to get better at my job. I guess kept trying to put Band-Aids on the sinking ship, not realizing that it was beyond, and that I was sick and I needed to get out. And it was losing my job that finally was the wake-up call that I needed. I'm sick. My life is making me sick.
Yeah. And it's incredible. I think we almost, that situation where in it so deeply, you cannot see the forest from the trees.
For sure.
It is literally a situation where you have to almost have something monumental happen to just wake you up.
Shake me out of it. And it was the best thing that could have happened, because the situation, even if I stayed in that job, I was miserable. I was sick. I was making great money, and I was paying for my expensive life, and that hamster wheel would have kept going.
Yes.
And I would have still been crying every day and drinking too much and
not having enough time to even process that in some degree, right? It would have just been like, well, that's the norm. That's how everybody is.
Right.
So
get a therapist. I had two.
What are you building right now? What is your focus? And how is that feeling?
So I'm focused on building a career right now. I'm building skills in content creation and video editing, and exploring how to monetize on that. But more importantly, and that's because I enjoy my work and I need to work, but more importantly, I'm working on, I'm rebuilding a relationship with my mother. We were basically estranged. She's also moved to Mexico City, and we've been having lots of hard conversations.
It's incredible.
I've been working a lot on acceptance and forgiveness. And actually also too, things that I had never, like anger that I've had for 30 years, I've never talked about it other to a therapist. So that's been trying to heal my relationship. My mother, I've met amazing, beautiful women. The women I've met too they're not working at 3 startups and writing 6 books. So they have time, and we are like kindred spirits. We all came from somewhere else and started over here, and there's just a bond, and we all take our female relationship building very seriously. It's been beautiful.
If a woman's listening right now who feels stuck or trapped in a life she's outgrown, what is the one sentence you would want her to hear?
So I would say, we all know the expression, the only way to the other side is through it, but just make sure that as you're going through it, you are kind to yourself. It is a process. It is grieving. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't realize. I didn't stop to grieve my old life, and that was part of the process. So take your time, listen to your body, and everything will be okay.
Wonderful. Thank you, Natalie.